Did you know that after schools were ordered to integrate in 1954, thousands of black teachers lost their jobs not because they were unqualified, but because they were black? In 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Brown v. Board of Education that segregated public schools were unconstitutional. The decision was historic, but the ruling said nothing about protecting black teachers. Before integration, black schools across the South were staffed almost entirely by black educators. They were principals, superintendents, guidance counselors, coaches, community leaders. In many towns, black teachers were among the most educated people in the entire black community. They held advanced degrees. They built curriculum. They mentored generations. But when integration began in the late 1950s and 1960s, white school boards faced a choice: integrate teachers too, or remove black authority from white classrooms. In many districts, they chose removal. Across states like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Virginia, black schools were closed. But instead of transferring black educators into white schools, districts dismissed them. Between 1954 and the early 1970s, an estimated 30,000 to 40,000 black teachers and administrators in the South lost their positions. Some were told they were no longer needed. Others were forced to reapply for their own jobs under white principals. Black principals were demoted. Assistant principals replaced them. White administrators were placed in charge of newly integrated schools. In some counties, not a single black teacher was hired into formerly white schools for years after integration. The message was clear: students could integrate, authority could not. In places like Prince Edward County, Virginia, public schools closed entirely from 1959 to 1964 rather than integrate. When they reopened, black educators had already been pushed out. This was not accidental. White officials often argued that white parents would not accept black teachers instructing their children. So instead of challenging racism, they accommodated it. The result was devastating. Black teachers lost stable middle-class income. Black communities lost leadership. Students lost mentors who understood their lived experience. A generation of black educational authority was dismantled. And this part of integration is rarely discussed. History remembers the image of children walking into newly integrated schools. It rarely remembers the black educators quietly packing their desks. Integration opened doors for students, but for thousands of black teachers, it closed them. This is not a story about opposing integration. It is a story about how progress often carries hidden casualties, and it leaves a difficult question. If integration required removing black authority to succeed, what kind of equality was actually being built? Not every hero makes it into textbooks.